Here we have a quadratic situation. We know it's a quadratic because it's a variation on the idea of ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, when we determine that we're dealing with a quadratic, we say to ourselves, this is a quadratic, and we remind ourselves, get one side equal to 0 with the x squared being positive. So if we do that here, it's basically the idea that we're adding d to both sides. And so we'll have minus 3x squared minus 5x plus d equals 0. Now, the other thing to notice in this question is we're being told the number of solutions. And the number of solutions for a quadratic is a reference to the idea of the discriminant. The discriminant comes from the quadratic formula, which if you don't know by heart, you should memorize. And when we plug in different values for the discriminant, by the way, is the part under the radical. When we have different values for the discriminant, it's going to influence our number of answers. For instance, if I had a positive discriminant here, the thing under the radical is positive, we'll get 2 answers because we'd be adding and taking away square root of 4. Here, if the discriminant is 0, we get 1 answer because we're not adding or taking away anything because the discriminant itself is negative. So when the discriminant is 0, there's 1 answer. And last but not least, when the discriminant is negative, we have a negative under the radical, and that's the idea of having no solutions. Because you can't have a negative under a radical. So that would be kind of game over if we had that set of numbers. Now, these numbers here have nothing to do with this question. They're just examples to show you what happens if the discriminant, the part under the radical, is positive, 0, or negative. So in this question, because we're told that we have 2 real solutions, we're basically being told that the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, is positive, so greater than 0. And the a in our situation is the minus 3, the b is the minus 5, and the c is the letter d. So these a, b, and c's are referring to the locations. They're not the actual letters. Now, b squared minus 4ac would be negative 5 squared minus 4 times minus 3 times d, and that's greater than 0. 5 squared, negative 5 squared, or positive 5 squared are both 25. On this part here, you have a negative times a negative, which is a positive. So we have 12d, 25 plus 12d greater than 0. Take away 25, divide by 12, and 25 over 12 is the same as negative 2.08. So if we imagine this on a number line, we have 0, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2. Let's put negative 3 in there. And we have to be greater than negative 2.08. So negative 2.08 is around here. And if we're going in the greater direction, it looks something like this. So that's a representation of our solution. It can be anything greater than negative 2.08. So which of these could not be the value of d? Negative 3, because out of all the numbers being offered to us, it's the only one not in the actual solution.